Hey Clashers, sneak peek number 1 for the Builder Base 2.0 update, and this means we get a new hero, we get new buildings, we get new reworked troop abilities, and much more. And this is going to be amazing because take a look at that. We have the copter, the new hero for the Builder Base, a really long range hero which can change the outcome of the attack really easily. But as we said already earlier, we have a new building, or new buildings as well. One of them is actually the iTzu outpost, which is spawning zappies as soon as it's going down. This is going to be crazy. And as always, if you're buying a couple of things from the in-game shop, like offers or for example the gold pass and so on, make sure to support your favorite content creator out there. Just tap onto the little C on the top right and you can put in the creator code of the creator you would like to support, and with code iTzu you support me. Really appreciate that. But before we're diving into all of the new stuff, a quick heads up. This is a Builder Base update, kind of similar to the Clan Capital update when it was released, or Town Hall 15 update where it was really village specific, which means this is a Builder Base update. There is no home village content then coming, just to give you guys the heads up and make sure that everyone knows that. But now let's dive into the explanation of the hero and how the new system works, because we have now 2 stages to attack. If you can actually beat the first stage, well, for Builder Hall 6 and above, then you're getting to a stage 2 where you can show your true skill and get the 6 stars overall. But what happens in between stage 1 and 2? Take a look at the baby dragon. This baby dragon is actually going to recover a couple of hit points, and this is because of the new building, or one of the new buildings. With that being said, let's just take a look at those and see how they work. As well, you saw between attack number 1 and 2, you actually got reinforcement army camps, or reinforcement baby dragons in my specific case, because there is now reinforcement army camps coming to the game, which means if you got stage 1 done for Builder Hall 6 and above, you're going to get another army camp. In between Builder Hall 6 and Builder Hall 7, you are always going to have 1 reinforcement army camp. If you're at Builder Hall 9 and above, then you're getting 2. So Builder Hall 6 to 8 is 1 army camp, and then Builder Hall 9 and above is going to be 2. Then we have the healing hut. That was the reason why my baby dragon was able to heal. So depending on how high the level of this building is for you, the healing is working for your troops, which is quite nice. Then we have changes as well to how the base editor works, which means there's a lot of changes. We have now at the top left always the indicator of which stage you are in right now, which stage you're building for. A couple of buildings are really stage dependent. So for example, the auto guard post can only be placed in stage 2. As well, you can always see a count of how many defenses you have left to place, because that is limited, okay? It's limited on how many buildings, traps, and defenses you can play in a base, so make sure that you're not stacking everything in the first stage. As well, there was a change to the walls, as you might have already noticed, because you can now place them on their own without those long wall pieces, which is quite nice. But let's finally get into the new hero. We have the new hero, the copter. It's going to unlock on Builder Hall level 8, and it's starting as soon as it's unlocking on level 15, which is quite nice. It is kind of to match the level of the battle machine as well, to make sure that the ground and air hero are always similar level. Otherwise, like the power is not really affecting that it's starting on level 15. That first prize is going to be 2.5 million elixir, but I think everyone should get that quite easily because, well, we will talk about the farm and loot system tomorrow, but more about that at the end of the video. Now, let's just double check how the new hero actually works. It's a really long-range hero. Can kind of compare to the Warden, where the damage itself is not that crazy high, but the range makes him really strong because it can outrange a lot of defenses and stay safe a lot of time of the attack. So doing like a little copter walk in the beginning of your attack is a massive deal, because take a look at that. It can take down a huge part of the base. With the ability, it's going to charge into the battle, which can sometimes be a bad thing, so you really want to make sure that you know when to use that ability, but the explosion after is quite nice. As well, the ground hero, the battle machine, is going to get a kind of rework for its ability. Now, the same as for the battle copter, you have 3 ability level, depending on how long you wait during the battle. The longer you wait, the stronger the ability gets. On level 1, it's pretty much the same as the regular battle machine ability, right? Like just having a stronger hit and that's it. If you have level 2, you're going to get Electro Dragon Chains, which is quite powerful, because those chains are going to go through buildings and deal a lot of damage. If you get all the way up to level 3, you're going to have 3 chains, and you can see right now how powerful this is. This is just the battle machine, and it's already taken down a huge part of the base. With that being said, we have now 2 really powerful heroes, but the question is, how do we actually use them? Well, before every single attack, if you have both of them unlocked, if you're Bitter Hall 8 or above, and you do not have any of them under construction, then you can just always choose which battle machine you would like to go into the battle with. Air or ground now. At the same time though, for free-to-play players, it's quite nice because this means you always have a hero. Because, well, if you have the ground hero under construction, you're upgrading it, then you can just use the air hero, or the other way around. But you have an advantage overall having both of them up. I will explain that, as I said, with being able to just switch in between of those two. It makes it really easy for you to be flexible, and depending on the other base, you can quite easily then change your approach, change your strategy on how you want to 3-star and then later 6-star that defending base. In this specific example, we have our hero surviving that first stage, which is important because you can change after stage 1 the heroes as well. And take a look at the health of those baby dragons. The baby dragons which have survived, they're going to get recovered a little bit. And now you can see we can change that hero. As well, what you might have noticed, army camps which we have not used in the first stage, you can switch them now in the second stage. Everything what you have used is staying the same. Like the baby dragons we have used, they're staying the same. Everything else which we have not used and the reinforcement army camps, we can change. But now let's have a specific different approach, okay? This time we use a hero, and this hero is going down in stage 1. What happens then? Can you not use any hero in the second stage, or what exactly is going to happen? We will just find out. As well, during the baby dragons just finishing the base, quick reminder as well, there is some troops in the game which do have multiple things in the army camp, like barbarians and archers. How do they work? Well, if they get to stage 2, their abilities kind of disappear of the troops you have used already. That is really important. But now you can see we still have the second hero. So if you lose one of your 2 heroes in the first stage, you can use the other hero then with full HP in the second stage, which obviously is an advantage if you have both heroes up and ready for battle. But again, otherwise we get the 2 reinforcement troops, and that's then it. But now let's dive into all of those troops and how their new abilities look like. The bad barbarians, they're pretty much the same, okay? They're pretty much the same. It's just they're a bit stronger now, and you have only 4 of them. The same thing is happening to the sneaky archers. As well, they're kind of staying the same ability-wise, but they're getting a bit stronger and their ability lasts a little bit longer as well. Now as well, the reminder. Let's say you're using the first stage 2 of the 4 archers, which means 2 archers are losing their ability, but both of them surviving the attack. This means for the second stage, you have 2 archers without their ability and 2 archers with their cloak ability. Really important. Next one, the giant. One of the most powerful units now in the builder base, because it has 2 abilities. The giant has 2 abilities. The first one is the first attack is dealing a massive amount of damage. And his active ability is incredible as well, because it turns the giant invincible for quite some time, which turns it into an incredible tank if you want to do any dives into the base. The minions are kind of similar to the archer and the barbarian. They're staying kind of the same to builder base 1.0, and this means they just got reduced in the amount and they got made stronger. The range was increased a little bit and the damage was a little bit buffed as well, but otherwise it's pretty much the same troop overall. It's still great with the dropships, but we'll get to that a bit later. Next one, the bomber. The bomber is a really cool troop, and compared to some of the others, it has an ability which you can activate multiple times. The giant ability, for example, is a one-time use. As soon as you have used the giant ability, it's not coming back. For the bomber though, every 22 seconds you can throw a bomb really far into the base and open all of those walls. The Baby Dragon, yeah, Baby Dragon and Cannon Cards, those two troops, they're just my favorite. The Cannon Cards are just incredible, the same as the Baby Dragon. The Baby Dragon is just burping fire. That's kind of what it does. It deals quite a lot of damage in front of it, and especially if there's a lot of buildings on top of each other, it's really strong. The Cannon Card, I think the Cannon Card so far in the sneak peeks and in the previews and everything looks so far the strongest. But please consider that in those videos I intentionally make it look good, right? On this base, for example, we have on the top side the Archer Tower, on the left side the Lava Launcher, or the Mortar, all of them outranging the Cannon Card, okay? So, where to place the Cannon Card, that's quite obvious. A Troll Tesla, Push Trap, and all of those other buildings can really mess up a Cannon Card. So normally you need to play like Barbarians or something else in front of it to trigger possible traps, because otherwise the Cannon Card is a super risky tool to use. Next one is the Night Witch. The Night Witch is pretty much staying the same regarding the base ability, but the active ability, oh boy, that's strong. Because the active ability is that it spawns additional bats and they are angry. They are raged up and go into the battlefield really with a lot of power. You can see right now, they're just taking those buildings out like it's nothing. And that is one Night Witch. Now imagine a lot of them. It's scary, I know. Next one is the Dropship. The Dropship is kinda the same tank as it was before, but now with a really cool active ability. The active ability is that it's dropping a bomb which deals a lot of splash damage, and it can open walls. In addition to that, it's spawning skeletons, which that means more defenses are distracted, and overall as well a little bit of burst damage. The P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A. is now renamed to the Power P.E.K.K.A. And well, the P.E.K.K.A. is quite strong. When you play the P.E.K.K.A. and you have the active ability, she's trying, I would say she's attempting to jump, okay? With this jump though, she's having a lot of power around her and she can deal a lot of splash damage, just like that. With that being said, she's pretty good to take down guard post troops, for example, or the Zappies in the second village, in the second stage. Hog Gliders. Hog Gliders are still incredibly strong, but they have as well the downside. As soon as you have used their one-time ability, it's not like an active ability, it's like their passive ability with stunning defenses. If they survive the first stage, in the second stage, you do not get the stun back. Similar to Barbarians, Sneaky Archers, and so on, right? Really important. It is risky to use them in the first stage. But now let's take a look at some attacks, okay? On this one, we have the Cannon Card, because I love it. We have a lot of Baby Dragons, again, because those two troops are by far my favorite. And we have the new hero. The new hero is just incredibly strong in picking off parts of the base where there is not as much air targeting defenses. On this top side, there is only the Arch Tower, and that is not dealing enough damage to actually take it down. Now we can play a couple of P.E.K.K.A. from the bottom side to take down the Air Crushers, because they are annoying for my Baby Dragons. The same thing happens on the far right side with my Cannon Card. I'm trying to take down the Firecracker to make sure that my Baby Dragons have a nice time for the back end. Meanwhile, my Air Hero took down the entire top side. You do not want to have those spread out, exposed defenses, because this hero is strong. It's really strong. At the same time though, it's a really strange, I don't know, like design, because normally the ability is always something positive, something which is powerful. In this one, it feels like the base stats with this huge range are just the most powerful tool. The ability of charging forward is sometimes a negative thing, because sometimes you're charging into 3 Firecrackers into the Mecha Tesla. If you don't time that well, your Copter is going to suffer, and that is not a good thing, because it can go down quite quick. If you don't abuse the long range, it is sometimes tricky to use. For us right now, the next thing is I want to keep using my Cannon Cards, or the Cannon Card. But with that, again, we have a lot of defenses covering that. So we need to take those out, which we can do perfectly with one Baby Dragon, then just add the Cannon Card behind, because as soon as the Archer Tower is going down, there's nothing anymore which can actually outrange my Cannon Card. So there's a couple of tools to set up the Cannon Card actually to success, and that's one of them. Just strategically snipe down defenses. And with that being said, we have at the same time again our air hero going in from the bottom side, because there's not enough air targeting defenses except the arch tower to really be a big threat to this new hero. And I think this is really showing the true power of this hero. It's not about like using the ability non-stop, but the ability of the Baby Dragon. Did you just see that? The ability of the Baby Dragon just wiping out all of those zappies. This is one of the most satisfying interactions and best counters for this really strong defense, which the guard post or the auto post is. Now we have the Baby Dragons with their ability to take down the Tesla. The copter is still going, and with that being said, we have a nice 3-star. Well, as I said already earlier, we have tomorrow the next sneak peek with, well, a couple of changes on how you can actually get your loot overall. Yes, with defense and offense, but how often can you do that? How exactly does that work? And as always, make sure to stick around and be back tomorrow for the next video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.